Welcome back to another insane criminal file, fellas. Didn't think I would have you back this soon, but hey, looks like there are more insane people in the world than we could ever imagine. This time, we're headed to Ohio. More precisely, North Olmsted, where an ordinary day turned into something out of a nightmare. A mother, a child, a quick trip to the grocery store, and within seconds a life was gone. What happened in that supermarket parking lot left an entire community shaken, and a jury asking the impossible question. Why? This is the story of Bionca Ellis, the woman convicted of fatally stabbing 3-year-old Julian Wood. Oh, before we dig in, as always, I upload true crime breakdowns once or twice a week, so do your mom a favor and hit that subscribe button once and for all. We will start with little Julian, or Juju how his parents and loved ones used to call him. He was born the 29th of October 2020. Julian's parents are Jared Wood and Margot Wood. His mother described him as smart, funny, and fearless, and said that he helped encourage his older brother, who is on the autism spectrum, to begin speaking. His favorite things: dinosaurs in school. Friends and family say he lit up when dinosaurs came up and always had a goofy smile. The day of the attack, Julian and his mother were doing what countless families do, shopping at the supermarket in North Olmsted, Ohio. On the other hand, we have Bionca Ellis. She was in her early to mid-30s at the time of the attack. Local reporting shows she had a prior criminal record, including theft charges, but no previous violent criminal convictions on the public record. Prosecutors say she had been living in the Cleveland area. Defense attorneys raised questions about Ellis' mental health during the legal process, noting diagnoses and histories cited in evaluations. They argued she suffered from serious psychiatric illness, including schizophrenia. By the time of the attack, Bionca Ellis was no stranger to law enforcement. Police records and video show that she had already had several disturbing run-ins with authorities. Back in February 2024, while staying at the women's shelter in Cleveland, Ellis told staff that she had killed a woman in Bakersfield, California, and even claimed she wanted to kill someone and eat their flesh. Investigators later determined those claims were unfounded, but they painted a deeply alarming picture of her mental state. A few months earlier, she had also been charged with criminal trespassing at a hotel in Kissimmee, Florida. It is not clear if, after all these events, she was examined or committed to any mental institution. Then, on May 29th, 2024, just days before the stabbing,
Hello? Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm going over here to the bus stop.
You're okay though? Somebody called because they were concerned about you.
Yeah, I kind of get lightheaded from my medicine.
5221, I'm out. Do you need assistance at all? Or you need an ambulance or anything? Are you feeling alright?
Nope, I think the temperatures is getting to be just right.
Okay. Do you have an ID on you just so I can tell them that you're alright? Thank you. Copy. Alright, Bionca, you know you got warrants. Girl, I don't know. They're
Probably for here, yeah.
Yeah, so we gotta check on those, alright?
Yeah.
You got anything crazy on you? No guns, knives, drugs, bombs?
No.
Nothing like that?
No.
Alright, I'm gonna cuff you in the front, okay? That's fair? Go ahead, face me for a second. Right here. Thank you, ma'am. I don't want to pinch you.
Ellis was arrested again in North Olmsted for violating probation after a theft in Rocky River. The presiding judge actually recommended psychiatric evaluation or hospitalization, noting signs of severe instability, but court records show that evaluation never happened. And that single gap in the system, that one missed opportunity for intervention, would end up costing far more than anyone in the community could have imagined. On the afternoon of the 3rd of June, 2024, surveillance cameras captured a sequence of moments that no one in North Olmsted will ever forget. Earlier that day, Bionca Ellis went into the new Olmsted police station to complain about belongings not returned after the previous May arrest. After that, she was seen entering a nearby thrift store where, according to witnesses, she quietly stole 2 butcher knives. CCTV footage later confirmed it. Minutes later, she walked into a giant Eagle supermarket, seemingly blending in with afternoon shoppers. Then, for reasons no one could explain, she began following a young mother and her small child through the aisles. Margot and 3-year-old Julian Wood. They weren't interacting, hadn't spoken, and by all accounts appeared to be completely random targets. As the pair exited the store and walked toward their car, Ellis followed close behind, and then, in a flash, it happened. Screams erupted in the parking lot. Ellis lunged forward, stabbing Julian and slashing his mother before anyone could even react.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a lady with a knife stabbing somebody in the North.
Where?
The Giant Eagle.
She's stabbing somebody? Do you have a description of her?
Yeah, she's a black female. We got eyes on her. She's walking towards Lorraine.
Oh, she's outside now?
She's outside walking.
Okay.
With a knife in hand.
This is going to be a black female walking towards
Black
Lorraine
female
Road with a knife.
black-
Is anybody injured?
Yeah, somebody's injured. I think this kid was stabbed and the mother's bleeding.
I'm at North Olmsted, Ohio, Giant Eagle. Someone just stabbed a kid and a lady in the parking lot.
Okay, straight out from the main entrance?
Yeah, straight out from the main entrance.
White, black?
I'm watching him walk away right now. He's got a knife in his hand.
Okay, is it a white male or black male?
Looks like black male.
And he stabbed the female and the child?
And a minor. Yeah, child. They're doing first aid right now.
Okay, an officer just pulled up there, and is he still walking?
Yeah, he's still walking.
Which way is he walking?
He's walking east.
Eastbound?
Eastbound.
And what's he wearing?
Black shirt, black pants.
A small child bleeding, his mother screaming for help, and the attacker still pacing nearby. Store employees and bystanders rushed to help, trying desperately to stop the bleeding until paramedics arrived. Julian was rushed to a local hospital, but despite every effort, he didn't make it. His mother, Margot, was gravely injured, but she survived. In the middle of the chaos, as sirens echoed across the parking lot and witnesses pointed toward the attacker, police closed in fast. Bionca Ellis was arrested right there at the scene, still near the bloody parking lot where the tragedy had just unfolded. Officers quickly recovered both butcher knives and multiple pieces of evidence, linking her to the attack. Within days, investigators pieced together enough to take the case before a grand jury. In June 2024, Ellis was formally indicted on a staggering list of charges.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ashlyn Carroll on behalf of Miss Ellis.
Excuse me, I'm going to ask for the questions.
Oh, sure.
Miss Ellis? Miss Ellis? Miss Ellis?
Yeah.
Please raise your head.
Where is it coming from?
I just need to ask you a few questions. I need to make sure you understand them. Do you have an attorney?
I'm gonna look for one.
Okay. Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney?
Repeat that.
Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney?
Possible.
Okay. Have you received and read your indictment?
I don't know.
You don't know if you've received it? Have you received it? Ma'am, just tell me whether or not you've received it, please. Miss Ellis, we'll be out of here in a few minutes if you just answer these questions. No, I haven't. Miss Ellis, have you received your indictment?
What was her name? Miss Ellis. What was her name? The judge. What's the judge's name?
Russo.
Russo.
That's right.
Russo with an R.
Have you received and read your indictment? Yes or no? If you haven't received it, I'm going to send it over there. So you need to tell me that. Miss Ellis, why don't you want to answer these questions? All right, we'll come back to her when she's ready to talk to me.
Your Honor, could I just let the court know our office does represent Miss Ellis on another case, and
I understand.
there are some mental health issues, and I do believe they
I'll come back to her.
Okay, just to clarify, I do believe she hasn't been on her
I will
medication.
come back to her.
Okay.
Come back in the courtroom. Bionca Ellis.
So send somebody over there.
I'll reach out to the office.
Okay, we'll come back.
Ready, Your Honor?
I'm ready.
We're going back to case number 692604, Bionca Ellis.
Hello, Miss Ellis. Do you have an attorney? You do? Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney? Have you received your indictment? Okay, have you read it? You have not read it, okay? We have a copy here. You can read it. You don't want to read it. Are you willing to accept that the public defender has read it to you? I'm sorry. You asked her not to. Well, but she did read it to you, correct? She didn't read it to you. Okay, well, we can read it in open court. I can find it. Okay. It's a 10-count indictment. Count 1 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did purposely and with prior calculation and design cause the death of J.W. 10/29/2020. The state of Ohio reserves the right to seek a superseding indictment containing the appropriate 2929.04A aggravating circumstances specifications. And so you understand that means the state is reserving its right to add a death penalty specification. Count 2 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, that the defendant did purposely cause the death of J.W. 10/29/2020. Count 3 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did cause the death of J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A1, and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did torture or cruelly abuse J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, a child under 18 years of age, and furthermore, the violation resulted in serious physical harm to J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020.
Aggravated murder, murder, attempted murder, felonious assault, child endangerment, tampering with evidence, and theft. Prosecutors described the case as one of the most heartbreaking and senseless acts of violence they had ever seen, but the defense took a different approach, arguing that Ellis' mental state had deteriorated long before that day, and that questions of competency and criminal responsibility were at the heart of the case. That clash between mental illness and accountability became the central issue leading into trial. When the proceedings began in October 2025, the courtroom was packed. The state presented surveillance footage, 911
There's
calls,
a lady with a knife stabbing somebody.
eyewitness testimony, and forensic evidence, each piece reconstructing the horror that unfolded in that parking lot. Jurors listened as witnesses described those frantic seconds, the screams, the panic, the desperate attempts to save a child's life. The evidence was overwhelming, the motive still unclear. But one thing was certain, North Olmsted would never be the same again.
I hand down the maximum sentence of 11 years as the minimum sentence to the indefinite sentence of 16 and a half years. Again, I've outlined the Reagan-Tote guidelines and the reporting requirements for post-release control that will be controlling on all other felonies of the second and first degree, this being the highest level. I've outlined the 5 provisions, as I noted for the record already. And then with respect to the count 4 and 8, the maximum sentence is 8 years. I'll hand down that sentence. Count 5, 8 years. Count 6, 11 years. Count 8, 8 years. And then as indicted, count 10, which would be a 6-month sentence on the misdemeanor charge. Regarding aggravated murder and finding the defendant guilty of aggravated murder by this jury, the court's going to hand down a sentence of life without parole. I'll run every other sentence concurrent to life without parole. Ms. Ellis, you'll be given credit to 509 days of the time that you've served. I'll order you in the custody of the sheriff to transport you to Marysville Correctional Facility. I'll also indicate that fines, fees, and court costs will be waived with respect to this sentence. In addition to the verdict that has been handed down by this jury and the sentence that the court handed down, Ms. Ellis, you have a right to appeal both the sentence and the conviction in this case. You can do that by filing a notice of appeal with the clerk of courts within 30 days of this sentence.
The verdict brought little comfort. Prosecutors called the outcome justice, but not closure. Inside the courtroom, the Wood family's grief filled the silence. Julian's parents stood before the court and described a loss so deep, it left her world hollow. A wound that would never fully heal outside the courtroom. The community rallied behind them.
I am here today to speak on behalf of my son Julian Miles Wood, who is no longer here to speak for himself, and I am thankful for you to be giving me this opportunity to do so. It's hard to know where to start when talking about him. He was on a path to be a big kid, which is why I called him my big guy too. He was going to be the protector of his brother and sister. That part was evident since the moment I brought Julian and his brother to the hospital to meet the new baby sister and see their mother. Julian was so in love with her. He wouldn't leave her alone or take his eyes off her while we're there. And he even tried feeding her while she laid in the crib sleeping. His sister won't get to know the amount of love he had for her, other than from what we tell her. She didn't even get a full 2 months with him before he was taken from us. When we had our daughter, I finally felt I had a full life. I had everything I ever wanted. A beautiful, loving wife, 2 sons and a daughter. It didn't even last all of 2 months before that monster took him from us. Now all of our hearts will forever be missing a piece, and it's up to all of us to keep his light shining, even though his star is gone.
I watched my son take his first breaths when he was born. And I watched him take his last in my arms, covered in his blood. A mother should never have to bury their child. A mother is supposed to go first, not her children. A mother shouldn't receive her child's death certificate at 3 years old, and his cause of death is by homicide. That woman murdering my son replays in my head every single day. It is my living nightmare. The last thing I will ever hear from my son is his scream, the sound of his pain and fear before he was gone.
A GoFundMe was launched in Julian's honor, not just to help the family, but to raise awareness about violence, help out the community through a Juju's Dino-5K as part of the Juju Miles Foundation. Flowers, teddy bears, and handwritten notes began to pile up outside the giant eagle where the tragedy happened. Small acts of remembrance for a life taken too soon. For the people of North Olmsted, the case of Bionca Ellis was more than a headline. It was a reminder of how fast the unthinkable can happen. At the center of this entire tragedy was Julian Wood, a boy who never got the chance to see what life could be. That's what makes this story so hard to tell, because behind every headline, every courtroom verdict, every photo, there is a family that has to live with what's left behind. The community of North Olmsted has turned its grief into remembrance, making sure Julian's name isn't just another case file, but a reminder of how fragile and precious life really is. And for the rest of us, may we never forget what happens when the system fails to see the warning signs, and when help comes just a little too late. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, stay safe, because the scariest monsters are often the ones that look just like us. Until the next insane criminal file. Thanks for watching.